this is what we're going to do. We're going to remove the left front first. Here's the game plan. I'm going to remove all these kind of hoses. Well, all these lines. Brake line. Wheel speed sensor, whatever it is. Hang on. Brake line. Brake sensor. Wheel speed sensor. Anything that's kind of in our way here. And then, once we do that, I'll disconnect it from the top. So at the very top, we'll have the 3 bolts. 1, 2, 3. At which point, all this wonderfulness should come out. So let's start off with the sway bar link. Bit of PV blaster. Because everybody loves a little bit of lubricant. It's not going to hurt nothing. Yes, I'm almost on a PB blaster. It goes very slowly. Nice. Seal looks pretty good too. Beautiful. All right, that's good. On to part 2. There we go. So we loosened up the upper control arm ball joint here. It's going to be an 18. I'll leave that on so when we separate it that this still retains the arm. I'm going to go ahead and remove, pull all these little guys out best we can. It's going to be mounted down in there. All right. Let's see. Some of that I might just leave together and unbolt from the back. Rib, just to get a little bit more room. Pop that out, get a little bit more room. If we release the bolt that's on the bottom of the mount, which is going to be a 21. I was told this trick back in the day where the bolts on these cars go front to back, drive direction. So nuts on the back side, future reference. What I would like to do now, separate this out. Here's where it's going to get a little tricky. You can use a ball joint separator. Crank this down. Ball joint separator goes in, it's going to pinch this. Hang on, it's going to pinch this right here. Now, if you're not reusing this, or you're not saving this, then you can just put a pickle fork right in and bang that out. We're going to take a separator, set this up. This is relatively cheap ball joint separator. It's been notched out, which is okay for the most part. Back that down a little bit. Just get a little bit of pressure on there for right now. See if this does it, maybe not. There you go. Easy peasy. And with that, you end up saving this because you're not actually checking the pickle fork on there. Okay. I think we are ready to come out. I'm going to create a brace for this. So then once this is out of the way, it's not going to put too much stress on the axle. And then we'll cut to the top, and yeah. Essentially, you'd have these quarter turn guys. 1, 2, I believe 3, but mine's gone, so I'm not entirely sure. And then a T25, which is going to live 1 here and 1 here. You're also going to have to take this guy off, which is going to be 1 bolt underneath here, 1, 2. We should be able to leave this section on, but we shall see. Throw that all in the tray. Pop that out. That can just go over here for now. All right, so we have 1 bolt. We have 2 bolt. And I think the third one, I'm going to gain access to it on the other side. So on this side over in here. Nice long extension because I'm lazy. Work that loose. Go. One, two. Now comes the funny part. This is going to be how to get to this one. So your last mounting bolt for the assembly here is actually going to be, it's down in here. So you'll come over, you can see 1 that I have left, 2 is going to be down here, and then the third, you'll take a extension. I'll measure this out once I get it out. It's about 8-10 inches, something like that. You can work a 16 millimeter down and then look through there, and that little spot of light is where the top of the nut's going to sit, or the top of the bolt's going to sit. So then you get a ratchet on it, crank that out a whole bunch, just spin it out by hand as far as it'll go. I'm going to attempt to leave this whole thing in here. So when I pull out the shock, right, I'm gonna pull it out and then it'll just hang down. And so then when I go to put it back in, I'll only get maybe 1 or 2 threads, one up here, to hold it in place. And then I'll start this by hand, that rearward, farthest rear one, bolt, by hand to get it to actually then seat in. And then once it's started, then I can get the middle one, and then 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So let me pull this out now that it's all loose, and once this is out, then I'll come back and show it. This is the shock up on the bench. So how this came out of the vehicle, which I needed both my hands, I couldn't really, I was worried about bumping the camera and whatnot, but I rotated this back, dropped it down, and then pulled it out again. So rotating the whole knuckle as far back as pretty much it would go, unsupported on the bottom, because these bushings will, the lower control arm is going to get replaced eventually anyway. But once that was pivoted back and these lines are out of the way, you can then drop it down, kick the front in, and then pull it like so, kind of around. And then that was enough to give me clearance up at the top here and get the top end out and then swing that bottom up. Also, what I found, which I thought was kind of interesting, look at that. That's not right. Let me try to line this up with that so you can kind of see the situation. Yeah, so that nut has been properly walloped on something. I don't know what impacted it. That was not from me. So we have new ones, I'm going to need to get new hardware, which is fine. Also, want to pull out, while we're in here, the sway bar because it looks a bit grody. So that's going to get pulled, and we'll measure it and get new bushings and maybe even new hardware for that as well. Or at least try to clean it up a little bit. And yeah, besides that, we're looking pretty good.